Okay, so this is a kind of a quick review of the current Harbinger Bioform strength gloves. I'm going to show you some of the older models and another model of Harbinger gloves that they don't make anymore, which was my favorite and, in my opinion, a better design. Let's go ahead, but this is the Bioform strength gloves. You kind of see here that this insert that comes with it, they kind of have a description of what's the advantage of it. Interesting part to note here, this is for this new set of gloves I just got. It comes with this placard, but you'll notice here on the palm it shows two different pads right here, and if you look at the current glove that it comes with, it actually has one big pad, and I'll explain in a moment what that is and why they changed the design. But it seems like Harbinger's gotten kind of lazy and hasn't updated their product information. Their website they have updated, but it looks like on Amazon, where I get my gloves because they're cheaper to order from, they still haven't updated and showed this type of picture, which is incorrect. So anyway, the Harbinger glove, it's a really thick padded glove. I've used Harbinger gloves for, I don't know, probably around 20 years or so, for a long time. The padding I do like, but recently I ran into some trouble, not with this current set, but the previous set that I had. This one is one that was used for about 4 months, this set. And as you'll see right here at the palm, it starts out with a lot of like padding, or it's actually kind of clay kind of material that's in the palm. And over time that kind of gets all bunched and put in one place and gets really firm and stuck somewhere. And so it was really getting stuck at the bottom here, where just because of where the bar kind of sits. And so this really actually wasn't doing anything in terms of helping your hand at your palm. And in fact, it was actually kind of making my hand hurt and causing on my left hand, a lot of pain. So it might be a case where they just, in this particular set, didn't put enough of this clay, they call it, material in it. But in any event, that is something that was a problem for me this last set. And like I said, it lasted about 4 months, and I probably could have kept it longer. As you see, it's starting to rip over here. It's starting to come apart. And the other glove was okay. This one, the right hand, was fine. But they do generally, this new set, the Bioform gloves, for me, normally last about 6 months, and they need to replace them. One thing to kind of compare them to, like another older set, like I said, I've been had these using Harbinger gloves for quite a long time. This is one from like last year, a couple generations ago. You see how this one has definitely been beat up a little bit more. But if you compare it in terms of how much clay is left, you see even here there's a little bit more than on this one, where it's all kind of bunched down the middle. So it may have been just poor quality control on Harbinger's part on this set, but in any event, it's kind of pushed down on that last pair. This one was a set that lasted, a pair that lasted six months, and it was pretty good. But as you can see, it was really kind of coming apart, and this plastic was starting to show. It was also ripping at this part of the palm as well. So you really have one that's coming apart, and it was definitely ripping again on this set as well. Usually, like once one goes, it'll stay for a while. And even here you can see there's a little bit more of the clay that's kind of sticking together. It's not all the way up the top, but it's not all the way bunched at the bottom either. Previous generations of this Bioform gloves were like the picture, and here I have an example. If I'll find it. Here's an example of that. This is where there's two pads on the palm. The difference there, besides the two pads, is that instead of having that clay kind of material that you see that's here and here on the top and kind of near your index finger, on the bottom of the palm here, it's both just foam. As you see, this foam sticking out right here, and I have another pair here where you can see, get it out, there's some foam that would go in right underneath there. So with the foam, it was fine. In fact, I kind of, as far as hand comfort, found this to be better, but Harbinger had kind of made a decision of, well, we're already using this clay material in these pads, why don't we go ahead and put it in the palm. And they probably, for a cost-cutting decision, decided that we didn't want to make small pieces. They just went with one big one here. And the downside to that is, like I've shown in the previous ones, once you've been using it for a couple months, it'll all kind of pull up at the bottom. So I had a couple of sets with that, with the 2 pieces of palm with the regular foam in there, and they were fine, and they lasted the normal 6 months. Now I do want to show you a couple of pairs that are older of a previous design. It was called Harbinger Big Grip gloves here, and those would last a little bit longer. Here's one set, and the difference there is they were really just, they had rubber, almost rubber inserts that basically they sewed into the glove. And see how these ones are all ripped apart, but they lasted longer. The gloves I could make last a year basically, and when you kind of flexed your palm, those, they've got 3 different, or actually 4, just different parts of it that kind of came together and really kind of gave you something that was tight and also could protect your hand and keep you from getting calluses and gave you good grip. So they were called the Big Grip gloves, and I had a number of pairs over the years of them. These, for whatever reason, came in yellow and black, so that was a little bit obnoxious color, but more common you saw them in the blue and black. And they had, over years, maybe changed a little bit, like the design of the rubber, but as you see, there's still rubber parts that go over your palm. Eventually they would kind of rip out, was the downside to them, that they would rip out of the stitching, these plastic pieces, and so they would come apart after a while. Here's a good one. It really ripped. But what I found was that, especially for these ones, I would get like 2 pairs of these, have like a good pair and a pair that's kind of ratty or worn out. And I would use the good pair for for bench pressing, inclines, kind of your heavy lifting, your pressing movements, and then anything else like just using dumbbells or military press or something with lighter weights, I would just use an older set. So that way you'd kind of take the good set that you had and kind of would limit the wear on it, and that's how I got them to last. I'd say about a year for a good set start to finish, so you'd only have to replace them once a year. So again, they were called Big Grip gloves from Harbinger. I really like them. They obviously stopped making them several years ago, but if I had any vote, I would bring them back because I thought they were much better than the current Bioforms. So that's just some history, and just wanted to show some different designs that they had and what they are. I think overall they're the best that's out there still, which is kind of unfortunate because there are some quality control issues and maybe some design issues with the palm that they have right now on the current Bioforms. But if they ever want to go back to the Big Grips, I know one person, or I would at least really want to buy it. So that's it. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it.